Hello, welcome to the studio. I'm Nancy. I'm the writer in residence at Velvet Park. So the way I plan, this is the first longer project I've ever done. It is a novel. It's fiction, and it's based on folklore. Revolves a lot around folklore. So what I've been doing is planning visually on this big wall where I have a ton of space, thankfully, to kind of plot out different threads of the novel. And I've had friends come in here and look at it and try to decipher it and basically decode what's going on. Unfortunately, it is a law that only makes sense to me. It doesn't really make sense to anywhere else. Some of my friends call it the conspiracy wall, because, I get a little nuts just writing notes and connecting things. What's good about ordering it this way is that I can see each chapter arc and see how long or short it is, what components there are that make it up. This is not the final iteration. I keep making changes to it. I keep using the step ladder and climbing up and taking off sticky notes and rewriting them and putting them back on. The folklore I'm writing about does revolve around the moon. So it does have I do have some built-in foundations, thankfully. I use the phases of the moon to kind of structure the book. And so I'm planning out each phase of the moon on the wall and, what happens during the full moon and the iteration of that full moon. What happens with all these different threads affected by this kind of time constraint. What happens with the original folklore and how that plays into the different threads I have. So I'm working on a retelling of the novel. Within all the different threads, there's an overarching thread, and the overarching thread is a modern queer retelling set in my hometown of this very, very ancient myth that everyone in China knows. It's a very, very famous one. It's just the story of the moon goddess, Chang'e. We celebrate and honor her during the Mid-Autumn Festival. And there's so many different variants of how she got there, how she ended up there, who broke her heart, who she betrayed, whose heart she broke, so many different variants. And so you kind of know, oh, this is a tale of separation. This is a tale where every ending basically ends with her elevated to goddess from being immortal. So you know certain things. You don't know everything, but you're going to know the general trajectory of the novel. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. So actually, I have the ending written out. So the last chapter of alternate endings, I'm debating taking it out of the novel maybe, but I have those because the way folklore works is that there's so many different variants, right? There's so many different endings that a certain story can have, because it's an oral tradition, because, different regions of one place had their own version of each story, and there's so many you can't possibly map them all, right? So the concept of having an alternate ending, or the concept of having just different endings, has really intrigued me in writing this. So those are the three alternate endings I'm considering putting in the novel after the story itself ends. This is very ambitious for me because previously my background is in poetry, and poetry is how I actually got started, how I started writing. And fiction is very new and very fun and very hard. So I admire people who do it on the regular. I think balancing narrative and balancing lyric lines, or balancing moving the story forward, or having beautiful language is a very intricate kind of dance. It's a very intricate, sometimes you have to there are things to compromise on, which I'm still navigating. As a poet, I really care about line delivery and sonic effect. I care about how, verbiage comes off. I care about what switching a single tense will do in one paragraph. So it's I'm very focused on the minuscule. In fiction, you kind of have to zoom out a little more. You can't really devote yourself fully to the minuscule with a bigger picture in mind. I think I've just gotten to the point where I'm comfortable sending chapters out. I'm comfortable sending portions of it out to my friends, my first readers. If I get to that point, it signals to me like, oh, I need external validation. Like I just need someone to say, this is not total shit. You have to keep going. You should keep going, like regardless of the quality, like you just have to get the story out. I never thought I'd be taking pictures like this, not in this city. I loped around different neighborhoods with a Fujifilm, ignoring traffic, catcalls, please. I read only fashion magazines. For lunch, ate greasy slick bites, crackers and prosciutto and cheese and little pickles with Japanese mayonnaise clipped on. I left bars and brisk jaunts, rode a bike to my job at the butcher shop. I bought white bed sheets because I knew I could cast shadows with my posing and make women sick with longing on the dating apps. I crumpled my hair into curled slips. I laid under stroboscopic lights in my room until my legs taffied on camera, longer than candy dough. I didn't come to the city with much. I used my room as a studio in a tiny apartment I shared with 3 other young people, all models of varying ages and genders. They came to New York to become something. I came to disappear.